Hi everyone, it's Mitch. It's Tuesday, October 28th. We got two games of college football tonight. Real quickly, I just want to talk about the picking contest. The picks go out tonight. You still have all week to sign up. Last week's winner was Christopher Green. He went 11-4 against the spread, but he starts back at 0-0 again this week. And we wish everyone the best of luck. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers and all my new viewers who might have caught my article yesterday on the front page of the college football section of CBS Sportsline. Pretty exciting stuff going on over here. I'm floored by it, but I'm excited about it as well. And the more people here, the merrier. Be sure to join us in the forums and any discussions we have going as well, because the site's just growing and growing every day. In any event, let's get to tonight's games. In the first game, this is like the more nationally televised game, and that's going to be the Ohio against Buffalo game. These are two teams that both have losing records. This is not what I would call an attractive game. We saw Ohio last week, and quite frankly, I was hoping it was the last time I'd have to watch one of their games all season. And thankfully, there's a game on that starts about an hour after that, so maybe we won't have to watch the whole Ohio game this week. But what happened last week was basically a muck fest, and then Ohio gave up the ball a bunch of times late, and Temple ended up scoring late, and it was 14-10, and believe me, at 14-10, the score sounds more exciting than the game actually was. This week we bring in Buffalo, and Buffalo has a losing record, but the thing is they've played a pretty difficult schedule if you go down the line, and they've played Missouri, they've played some pretty tough customers, and they've held their own. While they might not have been able to keep up with some of these other teams, they sure scored their points. They always score at least in the high 20s or so. Ohio, they score a little more than what we saw last week, but most of their scores are generally, in the low 20s or lower. So what we have here is a team that can generally score against a team that doesn't score as well. Everything else is pretty even, and I just think that Buffalo's played a tougher schedule, and I'm going to go with them. They're getting some points, and we'll gladly take them, though they probably outright the Bobcats tonight. In the other game, we got the University of Houston Cougars traveling to Marshall to take on the Thundering Herd. I like Houston in this one. They're laying 8 points. It's my second road team I'm going with tonight, but as we talked about recently, and I wrote up in the blog, and it was just a little blurb that I wrote up, but the road favorites are 50 or 56% this year. So that whole road favorite home dog stuff, it doesn't necessarily pan out. It's just like maybe someone hit on a home dog, or maybe this year's an aberration, but it certainly isn't the pattern this year, and this has been the year of the road favorite. In any event, Marshall's a team that can score some points. What the pattern we've seen from them is that they usually hang with the other team for a little bit, make some nice plays, play some solid defense, score a couple early touchdowns, and then fade away and tuck it in. On the other side of the ball, we see the exact opposite, and that's Houston, who kind of lets other teams stay in the game, and then they light up the scoreboard in a 5 or 10 minute span where they just score an incredible amount of points and really rack it up. And I expect them to do the same tonight, because we see a huge disparity in the matchup of the Marshall defense against the Houston offense. I mean, Marshall's ranked over 110th in several defensive categories. We all know the University of Houston ranks top 5 in many of the major offensive categories. What I see is a statistical mismatch, and the 8 points should be easy covering in West Virginia. Of course, those of you who are living in the northern part of the country, and throughout, that the weather has been crazy lately. It's been changing all over the place, so we never know what we're going to expect. I'd watch the weather reports closely, as if the weather does come in, this line is more than likely to move. So we will keep a close eye on it, but at this point, it's Houston -8. It's Buffalo plus, I believe it's 1.5. And this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow talking more college football.